Set. Gonna get into some things tonight. Try to see if everybody wants to roll with me this evening. It's one of those evenings where got to discuss a couple topics. Maybe just one, but then again, we'll probably get into a lot of different things. But right now, I want you to enjoy this introduction that I have right here. I think a lot of people understand and they've heard this song. I don't care what generation you're from. Everybody know Kool and the Gang. If they don't know him by the name, they know the sound and the beat. Summer Madness. This is March. Right now, today is one of the coldest days of this year in March. You know how they say March is. March comes in if it comes, whatever way it comes in, it goes out the opposite. This March 2022 came in like a lamb and went out like a lion. And man, I'm telling you, the lion came out the other night and we had an incident that we're all talking about, and that incident that we're talking about is the incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. People are portraying it and stating that it's like the slap heard around the world, but it was more of a visual thing than the slap. The visual of seeing it, that was the most egregious thing that you could probably see on live TV. Another individual assaulting another individual on the world stage. It's being televised. Now it hurt me in a way because, well, I'm gonna say it hurt me mostly in this way because I saw two young brothers. Well, they used to be young brothers, just like me. They used to be. But then we are senior brothers now. I'm older than they are, but they are over their 50s. But you see these two individuals that have stellar careers in different areas, somewhat crossing each other in the comedy and the acting and the same thing. But for one to actually approach the other in that venue and to actually physical assault that individual. Two brothers that had a lot of respect from me. And I lost a lot of respect for the brother that committed the physical violence. Now, I do understand why he felt his way, but I don't think he needed to act that way. I know the other brother that was assaulted, he's in the area in the profession where they always push the limits. The other night, he pushed it again, and that was the limit where the other one didn't want him to go, and it spiraled out of control, and he ended up in a situation now where, okay, so where are we going to go with this? So think about that, and then I know you know the names. I'll come back in later and mention their names as we talk. But right now, we're trying to get to the summer and get past this March cold, below 30-some degree freezing day of spring, so we can get into some of the summer madness. Kool and the Gang, Summer Madness. Okay, let's fade out about Kool and the Gang and let's get into my commentary. Like I said, when I come back, I'm gonna expound on the names of the two individuals that I was referring to about this incident that occurred that we're talking about for the last couple of days. Two individuals, young brothers, senior young brothers. When I say senior young brothers, I said I'm the senior. They are younger than me, but they're senior too. We're talking about Chris Rock, famous comedian, has a lot of accolades with him within the film industry, doing his own thing with his different comedy acts and tours and um, Netflix and HBO shows, acting and actually doing a lot of things um, that excel him to the top of his game. And then we have Will Smith, famous young rapper that excelled, and came up to the top of his game, crossed over and did a lot of different things in movies, action, drama, and comedy. The way that he broke into the filming industry, I believe, was with his TV show, um, Fresh Prince from Bel Air. But anyway, Chris Rock has always been one of those entertainers that a lot of people engaged, and they wanted him to actually host and perform and do things. He's hosted the Oscars before, and he's done that because the Oscars always like someone like Chris Rock to do a different of the entertainment to keep the show going and lively. And it's one of those things where the Oscars like a lot of funny moments, people that can pivot and go on the dime and actually perform. Comedians have always done it. I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, you know, like I said, Chris Rock, a couple other ones I can't name right now, but I see their faces and stuff. I think Stephen Colbert did it. But anyway, that's what Chris do. He's an entertainer. He's a host, a celebrity. He can actually do those things. And in that field where they do that, that's what he was there for. Brought back to do it again. Will Smith is one of those individuals that became iconic um, rapper, first one to get nominated and win a Grammy for rapping based on his abilities to be able to transform and come from, you know, um, urban environment and actually come up and not even being involved with a lot of the gangster rap. I mean, he had some things with him, but he became an actor, and then he showed his versatility and the things that he can do. And this night, Chris Rock was brought back to perform and be a host because he has been known to be one of those great hosts, entertainers, to be able to keep the audience going with his comedian style and activities, the things that he did to engage people just to keep it lively. And that's what he do. That's because he's like a comedian. He can perform on the stage. He can switch back and forth and go and do a different thing. Will Smith was there the other night at the Oscars because he's been doing a lot of things with different acting and performing, and he showed his versatility that he was able to actually transform into a from a actor comedian to a serious role and get nominated that night. I have no doubt that he knew that he was going to be um, receiving that award, getting it. Chris Rock knew it also, but Chris Rock was doing his thing. And in a way, people probably won't agree with me. Chris Rock singled them out. I mean, Jada and Will, for various reasons. One was, like I said, he could like continue on with his comedy introduction and play on the fact about some of the things that they did from 2016, boycotting the Oscar, and then coming back, and then knowing that Jada is like a very intense actress in the way that she actually performed before, And so my take is Chris, in his own comedy, funny way, was bringing attention to them, but not realizing the way that he was bringing the attention, it touched on something in both Will and Jada, and it wasn't really about the 2016. It was something that they going through as a couple. Whether Chris knew it or not, I think when Chris, if he was like the one that I say he was to be able to pivot on a dime in his profession, he didn't pay attention to the cues that he saw. Even though a lot of people say when he started the joke and making the joke, Will kind of like laughed a little. But I know Chris, just being on the stage, sometimes the lights and everything, they can blind you a little bit and you're trying to gaze around and stuff. But I think he had enough time to even notice that when he got back to Will and Jada, their expressions were different. Because I think that was the moment that Chris should have pivoted like he always do as a comedian. And as a brother to the brother and his sister, he should have said, "Oh well, you know what? This is not going over too well right now. Let me just move on to something else." But he didn't. Now I'm not gonna say he didn't. He saw the movements that Will was making and Will's expression, and then Will started progressing towards him. Chris even made a comment right before Will got to him, and he said, "Uh oh." That's when Chris know that he had fucked up and he didn't cut it off. But where Will fucked up is he got up out of his seat and got on the stage when he shouldn't have been there. And he really fucked up when he actually raised his hand and hit Chris. That right there was the ultimate. I know Chris was wrong. I don't condone and I don't back and say that Chris is the total innocent one, but I do believe that he was the victim of the joke going bad and Will taking it into his own hands that he was gonna like basically, and I'm gonna go like this. He said, "You know what? This is bad taste." And Will walked up on the stage and said, "I'm gonna slap the taste out of your mouth." Pow. That's what he did. Chris realized like now, and he said it. Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. I think in Chris' mind, I don't know, but if he was thinking, yeah, I should have caught that cue when I saw you do. You were telling me to stop. I've been too far, and this was another year. So I didn't like that whole image and how it ended. Well, it still haven't ended. I didn't like how it went down. I didn't like the results. I didn't like the fact that Will got up and just went out of control and went up and hit another brother on stage in national TV live broadcast in a event like that, which was one of the events that you can see like black people were given a lot of different accolades about the production and performance and things like that that were going on. And that incident overshadowed the whole recognition of what was going on, to include the Oscar that Will was nominated for as the best actor, male actor, for his portrayal of the Williams sister's father. I'm trying to think of his name right now. I'm sorry, I can't remember, but you all know. It was like it took away it took away everything. It took away everything. And then I would say thank God that you had an experienced actor like Denzel Washington that was there, Tyler Perry, you know, his, status of who he was, to actually go and actually talk to Will. Some people say they were more or less placating to him. I'm like, no, they were trying to tell him, dude, you were wrong. but you need to like keep your, stay in check and be more of a man to understand that that violence that you just committed, that's probably going to cost you a lot. So you need to make some amends to what was going on. And I think that's what Will was trying to do when he got his Oscar after that. He was trying to. That was like what they call it, damage control right there from the onset. Now, I know I'm talking about Will and what he did and what he was trying to do and to control the damage. But I say this: a lot of people don't even discuss too much about what Chris was going through. Chris did an amazing job. I think that what Chris did, he held it together. Even though he was physically assaulted, embarrassed on national TV, he was still trying to like, I'm not going to go there anymore. I've already got the shit slapped out of me. I missed the cue. And I'm saying, brother, he was telling like, brother, I hear you. But, Will with his vulgar language and what he kept trying to cut Chris off, even Chris was trying to say, I understand. The cursing and what he was doing, Will was just like way out there. And he just was like hyped. And that made him look really bad, really bad. And I don't think he's going to be able to, salvage too much from this. He messed up a great opportunity for him to probably be able to be one of the most iconic black leading men in acting. Like I said, there's only like 5 black men that have actually won that title that he got nominated for, and one of them was Sidney Poitier. Gone, passed away. But that last night, was supposed to be somewhat of a remembrance of Sidney. And then you had Forest Whitaker. A lot of people don't remember Forest Whitaker winning it, but Forest Whitaker has a lot of creativity and that things about him, and when he won it, that's number 2. And then you had Denzel Washington that comes along, my man. Yeah, like I said, when he won it, it was kind of like people were thinking like Denzel was the first one to win it because of Denzel Washington of who he is, and he's like Denzel, cool, smooth, and whatever. But that was number 3. And then you had Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is a comedian. A lot of people didn't think Jamie Foxx had the skills and the ability to be anything but a comedian, but he became an actor, and he did a great job and still doing a great job, and he won it. That was number 4. As long as the Oscars been going on and stuff like that, Will was the number 5. But the number 5 has put a lot of negative connotation on black actors, males, of their abilities to be able to transform and perform. I don't even know if Will was thinking about that before he engaged in what he did, but I think he thought about it after he did it, how it was going to impact him and how it's going to be that negative scar on the 5th black man to be nominated and actually awarded an Oscar in a predominantly uh, profession where mostly white males win that. So going forward, I don't know how you all feel about it, and I was telling you I waited a couple of days to actually get some interaction and talking. Then I talked to people, but I wasn't searching for people or just listening to people that I came across, and I got a lot of different opinions about this. Um, I had my opinion switched from one view into another one, understanding. And one of the things that I was kind of like, I guess I was blind about it, or just didn't want to. I mean, not wanting to see it, but couldn't see it. But I was looking from a perspective of a comedian making a joke and listening to what Chris Rock said and not knowing the information about um, whether there was another G.I. Jane movie coming up. I was under the impression that one was already in, the thought, the production, or maybe they were looking at different actors to play the part. And I thought Chris was talking about they were switching from a white female, Demi Moore, and they were going to use a black female. And Jada would have been the ideal person to play the part. And I didn't think Chris was just talking about you lost your hair and you would fit in. I think Chris was more or less looking at her and he gave her the compliment of she was beautiful and he loved her and he think that she would fit in for the part. And I think Chris was, my opinion, I think Chris was looking at the fact that the way that her appearance, it would be great. But I think Will and Jada took it as like he was making a mockery of her appearance. And Jada and Will knowing that, as a black woman, and Will is right there with her, and she's dealing with the part of the fact that hair is the crown of the black woman, and the black woman is always, doing different things with the hair, and they have been criticized about the different ways that they wear the hair and certain things, and coming a long way, and then even the fact that the black woman have like different hairstyles and versatility to be able to do different things. There's always been an admiration of the white woman because the white woman always had the straight hair, but the black woman can go back and forth. That's what the black culture do. I mean, even like the black culture, even when the black women straighten their hair, they could be in appearance of the long straight hair that they were trying to fit in with society. But then when they go back and become in their natural state, it becomes one of those things where an admiration, but I don't think a lot of people understand. They never really get that or hear from the other cultures that they like it. But um, how do they say? Imitation is a sign of, I guess, admiration. And I don't know how, I forget how that goes, but it's like I said, it's flattery. They love the way they do it and they try to do it. But anyway, let's get back on the subject. What I was saying, I think Chris was trying to give her Jada that prop, regardless of whether your hair was there or not. You rocking this hairstyle that you're doing, and even though Demi Moore, she did the GI Jane, the first one, she cut her hair, but that was one of the iconic parts about the G.I. Jane movie when Demi Moore did it. She cut her hair off. And even white men, sometimes, I ain't gonna say sometimes, a lot of times, men in general, not just white men or black men, they think that when a woman cuts her hair off, it don't make her a woman anymore. In my opinion, it's not the hair. If the woman has that confidence and she wants to do it, I don't require the hair. I just know I see the person, looking at the face and everything, regardless of what the hair is, long, short, red, blue, orange, or whatever. I know that the woman is still the woman and she's sexy bold and daring in what she did. I love Demi Moore. When she did it, I was like, damn, sexy. So when I'm listening to Chris Rock talk about G.I. Jane, and I said he's not saying my sister is less than Demi, but I thought Chris was saying you're gonna outshine her because you're gonna come in there with your hairstyle the way you are, and Demi Moore, G.I. 1, the movie, is gonna be like set back. Because Jada has that spunk. She has that ability to do that. Always had that. And everybody, just loved Jada in the way that she moved, the way she do things, the toughness with the Matrix, and even when she played with the uh, what's his name? I can't think of the movie with the Wayne brothers, the one of them, that lead, and she was like doing certain things. It's like she just she's tough, but she's beautiful. She's sexy, regardless of what the hair is. And I thought Chris was trying to give her a little bit more of an accolade of like, you're gonna do this. But I think Chris was ignorant to the fact he didn't see that they weren't connecting with him with his joke, and they were going through something. I don't know if Chris knew or not, but if he did know, Chris should have done just like what I said. He should have used his ability and his skills to pivot. I need to get off of this one. He didn't get off of it. And I think Will and Jada was giving him an opportunity to get off of it. But Will, like, I'm going to do what I got to do. And I tell people all the time, I say, I think sometimes, like I said, Jada is the alpha female. Jada even made comments and something in a couple of interviews and stuff when Will was thinking about like I think it was one movie he was saying that he couldn't do the love scene or something like that, and then she told him said basically said you need to get your ass out there and do that and represent and don't embarrass me. And Will had to do the love scene with another woman. Jada didn't have no problem with it. She just said don't be a punk ass. Will went and did it. Jada pushed him and told him. See, Jada has a way of pushing the button, and Will didn't want to probably be a punk ass on the Oscar night. And Jada was like, put the frown on her face and gave it to Will. And Will, he was like, I ain't no punk. I'm going to handle this, baby. And he started up that damn walk. And I would still go back to say this. Jada knows she's the alpha. Jada know that she can push. Jada know that she can just look, wink, smile, whatever. Will fucking flip turn like a fucking goddamn cat that just got water put on his ass, hot water. Jada should have just said, okay, babe, I don't like this, but you don't need to go right now. All you need to tell me that when we go to the after party, we gonna check Chris' little fucking raggedy ass. He done did this one too many times. Just give him the look. Chris, okay, you don't get it? Fine. We'll see you after the after party. Don't be late. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this whole thing up. My two brothers and my sister, they got to work it out. And social media is one of those things where we as the public and we are trying to be like we own the stars in their life because they're public figures and things like that, and we have to know everything. And we're waiting on Will to apologize, which Will made his public apology, went to the social media. Jada made a little comment, on her Instagram, and then everybody's like, where's Chris? I wondered too, where's Chris? But then again, I don't own Chris. You don't own Chris. You don't own Jada, and you don't own Will. What Will and Jada decided to do, I would think they felt like they needed to do that because they were more of the reactors to something that should not have spiraled out of control because of what ignorance of Chris and what he said. I think Chris is doing just like what he did on the stage. He stood back, he tucked the slap, He tried to calm it down and he walked away, and he hasn't said anything because he's not going to feed any more fuel to that little spark that occurred to make it a big ass flame. If Will and Jada contacted Chris and they've talked about it, guess what? The rest of us don't even need to fucking know. All we need to know that it will go away and they would take care of themselves. So that is my take on the Will Smith and Chris Rock incident and Jada Pinkett at the Oscars. Comment and let me know what you think. So with tonight, let's just have a little bit more summer madness and relax. Good night, all.